Want to easily make your own graduation fans without a Cricut or cutting machine? Then keep on watching. Hey y'all, Victoria Cherie here with Pretty Party and Crafty, and we're going to jump right into how to make your own graduation fans without a Cricut or any other cutting machine. So first you want to make sure you open up your design program. For this tutorial, I'll be using Canva, and you'll go to the top right corner and select Create a Design. For this tutorial, I'll be printing on our 8.5 by 11 Party Printables glossy cardstock. So I'll just select custom size and make sure it says 8.5 by 11 inches and hit create new design. Once you do that, you'll have a new tab open up and you'll see your blank document. And there's two ways you can go about doing this. You can do this from scratch where you upload all of your images, graphics, and backgrounds, or you can take advantage of Canva's templates. Now, if you don't have access to Canva, I do have a link in the description for a free trial, but I definitely recommend the pro version. It is well worth it because you have access to all of the graphics, all the templates, all the fonts. Okay, and for me, I'm just going to use templates, and you can search for different types of templates. Because we're doing graduation, we'll just search for graduation. Okay, and then you'll just scroll through the templates to see if you see anything that you like, and you'd click on it. So for example, if you like this first one, you can click on it, and it'll bring it into your document. And then you'll just switch out some things. So you could change the picture by deleting it and then bringing in your own. You can change the colors by selecting it and changing it to whatever color you'd like. All right, and for me, let's see. We'll just leave this picture because it's going to be just a sample. And I'm going to go to Elements. And I'm going to select foil, or I'm going to search for foil balloons. All right, so at this point, I start to search for foil balloon numbers. And once I find something that I like, I click it and select See All next to Magic Recommendations so I can get the matching numbers. And I'm just clicking them all to bring them in, and then I'm going to resize them at the same time. So while I'm looking at this and rearranging the numbers, I decide that I don't necessarily like the gold foil balloons. I want something a little bit more colorful. So I was just rearranging the sizing, deleting some text, making the name bigger just by clicking and dragging the corners to make it bigger. But again, what I'm going to do is go back to Elements, and I'm going to search for 2023 to see if I find some numbers that I like. So I found this colorful foil, but then this 2023, it spoke out to me. So I think we're going to stick with the colorful 2023. All right, so at this point, I'm changing the font for Graduate to Nick Canely. And then I'm just going to change the colors and play around with the effects. I wanted it to have a shadow, so I brought the transparency to 0, and I changed this shadow to black. Then I just repositioned, make sure she was centered. Remember to upload your image, just go to upload and then select your photo. And then once I get everything centered by going to position and selecting center, I'm going to change the font and the style of the name. So again, I decided to give this a shadow as well. And I ended up going with a black shadow for the name. And then after I played around with the colors, I decided to change the font name to Archivo. And once I do that, I think it's looking good. All right, so at this point, this looks good to me. If you were bringing in your own image, just remember you would go to Uploads, Upload File to bring in your own image. Okay, but for me, I think this looks great, and I'm going to leave it as is. So we have the name, we have the year, and then we put graduate. At this point, we can go ahead and save it. So I'm going to click Share, Download. I'm going to leave it at PNG and just hit Download. All right, so here we have our file, and let's get ready to print. So when I'm printing, I just like to right-click it, select Print. And let's make sure that we have our printer settings set up properly. So select your printer. So I'm using the ET8500. Paper size, I'm printing on our Party Printables cardstock, which is letter size. So we want to make sure that we select letter size, 8.5 by 11. Quality is high. You can get away with standard if you have like a photo printer like the 8500 or the 8550, but for me, I'm just going to select high for this. And then paper type, you're going to select photo paper glossy. If you have an HP printer, you want to select HP photo paper. All right, next we're going to click on options. Click on printer properties. Yours may say preferences. It just depends on your printer. And let's make sure we go through all of these settings. So printing on our glossy cardstock, it is thick. It's 96 pounds. So you will not be able to put this in the bottom loading tray. You have to put it in the rear paper feeder. So for paper source, make sure you have rear paper feeder selected. Document size is letter 8.5 by 11. Borderless is checked, and then we're going to click on settings. It may say options on yours, but make sure you click on it. Method of enlargement, I have auto expand, and for amount of enlargement, select medium. Do not put minimum, because if you put that, you might see a white edge still, and if you put standard or high, it'll enlarge too much and you might cut off the wording or the picture. Select OK. Paper type, photo paper glossy. Color, quality high. More options. This is optional, but this is what I do. I like to control my colors. So under color correction, I have custom selected and I click advanced. Under color management, I have color controls selected. My color mode is Adobe RGB and my gamma I have set to 1.8. So this is a personal preference, what looks good to you. So yours may look different from mine. You may want to fool around with the brightness and contrast, saturation. But for me, this is how I have mine set up. Select OK. Select OK. And then we can print. We'll be using Pretty Party and Crafty's Party Printables paper, the 96-pound letter size cardstock, 8-inch popsicle sticks, this corner paper punch, a glue gun, and also metallic cardstock. All right, so I'm going to use a 10 millimeter side of my paper corner rounder to round the corners of my cardstock. I'm just going to insert each corner into the punch and it's going to round the corners for me. Again, this step is completely optional, but I feel like it gives it a little finished look. So I'm going to do that to the metallic cardstock and to the actual picture cardstock. Once I do that, I'm going to line it up on my Cricut mat and get that popsicle stick centered to where I want it. And then I'm going to add some glue to my stick and I'm going to adhere it to the cardstock. Okay, now I'm going to use some double-sided tape. I was going to use the glue gun, but I feel like the double-sided tape will make sure that it's not lumpy and bumpy. So I'm just using double-sided tape on the back and on the stick. And I'm going to adhere the metallic cardstock to the back. So when you adhere it, try your best to line it up as best you can. I was in a rush, so mine didn't line up perfectly, but that's okay. It still came out amazing. So super easy, super simple. Hopefully you learned something new. Just keep in mind, you don't need a cutting machine for everything. If you watched this far, if you learned something new, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Later, y'all.